is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to do a bit more of an in-depth look into my craft room. So I will probably have to split this into 2 videos because it's probably going to drag on for quite a long video. But I'm going to go around hopefully the whole room and kind of show you how everything is set up, so that you can see. You can give me any tips and ideas of where you think I could move things around and make things better, because any advice is greatly appreciated. So yeah, let's start as we come into the room. So I've got obviously these little jars on this shelf that I've put up here. It's got hooks at the moment, obviously not making the best use of the hooks. I've just got this little decorative bird. But of course I can then use these hooks for anything like die cuts or anything, anything that comes in a packet with a hole, I can obviously hook on there. In the jars, I've got things like gems and brads and things like that. Now, I've tried to contain all of my jars that I don't use so very often, so that then if I was likely to use these things, I could kind of pull them over at the beginning of a video, rather than things that I'm grabbing at all the time. So that's what's contained on there. Then, excuse me, up here, sorry about that, just a frog in my throat. So up here I've got one of those paper organisers. Now this was from IKEA. I did have this previously up in the loft, but I've moved it down. Now I've put sort of, tried to be reasonably organised. So in here I've got collage masterboards. Then here I've got some fussy cut pieces, that need fussy cutting. More collage masterboards here, but these are book page size and 12 by 12 size. And then at the top, again, I need to organise the top a bit better, but at the moment I've got things like, if I just pull one out, oops. These are just ready to make ring bound journals. So these are like page bases basically for ring bound journals. They've been stitched around on the sewing machine. And yeah, they're just, often I use 12 by 12 papers to do these, or, printables just in A4 size. So they've just been put up there so that when I come to make a ring bound journal, I've at least got some of the pages ready to use as my base. So that's up there. Down here, these are ribbons, obviously in this jar. Next to them, I've got Mulberry paper flowers. These ones I probably should just put in the jar, but for some reason I haven't yet. Here I've got some handmade bows in my big size bows there. This is that beautiful little box that I got from Happy Mail, and that's full of the trims and things that came in that box in the first place. Then here I've got flowers. So these are my handmade flowers that I have already made. So fabric handmade flowers that I've already made, and they're obviously there ready to pull in and use. So I quite like them being in there. They were in that container already up in the loft. But again, I've just kind of put them over here where, I'm not accessing them all the time, but they're just reasonably, easy to get to. Here I've got a jar. Now this jar has got a combination of ruffles and the Tim Holtz rosettes in there. Then here, this is my organiser thing. Again, this was in the loft. So all of these things pretty much, except for the furniture, everything, the smaller items I had up in the loft. So it's just been transferred down here. So I've got a variety of things. I've got some lovely brooches and things here. I've got chipboards ready to make stuff with. And then I've got lots of paper flowers. I've got some stamps and things here. Some of my wax, not pellets, but, wax sticks for wax seals. And some buttons and things. I mean, to be honest, this whole thing needs a bit of an organise, but, it's fine for the moment. And I like to just keep the lid open on that, really. So, as you can see, the lid's propped open there. Then here I've got like my little inspiration shelf. Now again, this shelf was actually up on the wall when it was in the loft. So far I've just put it here, but it's got some of my little, I don't know what that is, it's kind of made its way in there, but some of my little journals that I have received in Happy Mail and that I've bought. Just things, that are really pretty, and I just thought, I'll keep them kind of there together as, inspiration really. I may put that on the wall at a later stage, but at the moment I thought it was really, really nice over here. So that is there. And then here I've got more jars. Now this jar here is full of the puffed yo-yo flowers that we've made. Now these are not decorated, if you see what I mean. They are just ready for decorating. So if I just take the lid off. Oh, that's kind of like a two-hand job really required for that. yeah, they're puffed yo-yos, and many of them have already been stitched together, so they're double layered, but they need decorating, so they need centres, you know, maybe some lace putting around on them and things like that. So they're all ready to go and ready to use to decorate. So they are there. Whereas the other fabric flowers in there, they are all, you know, completely finished and ready to go. So that's that. Oh, let's put that back. Here are some of my dyed flowers. So they're all kind of, yeah, ready to kind of use and make flowers from, basically. So that is, you know, what's contained in there. Now, just moving things from here to be able to show you what's in these boxes. So I've got lots of boxes here. The top box, this is just filled with ink cartridges. I'm enrolled in the Instant Ink with HP, so obviously they send me the cartridges pretty often. So that's all that's in that one. This one is filled with snippet rolls. So these are fabric snippet rolls which I have made, which, you know, I haven't kind of decorated them yet, if you see what I mean. Now, I don't always decorate a snippet roll, but, you know, these are either ready to use as they are or can be decorated. So that is those. Excuse the dust all over here, obviously, I have not polished. So, and I wouldn't be able to now even if I wanted to, because it's so full in here. Right, this little container here, this has got things that really I either need to use up or, you know, get rid of really. So, but a lot of them are chipboard letters and things, which they're from my scrapbook days really, but I'm kind of loath to get rid of them because I think, well, we may do some art journaling and things like that where we can incorporate them. This is chipboard pieces, and again, they're really from my scrapbook days, but again, some of these, you know, the sort of larger ones like these, for instance, we can cover with paper, we could paint them and make chipboard tiles. And then the more decorative ones, of course, we could use in art journal pages and projects and things like that. So, you know, again, I'm kind of loath to get rid of those because, you know, they are going to be handy, I think, for something. But, you know, I may start sharing them, you know, when I post things, I may start kind of including some of those things because, you know, there's only so many that you need. Then here again, this is all chipboard letters. So again, I've got a whole bunch of different chipboard letters. I mean, you know, these have obviously been years of collecting and things while I was scrapbooking and card making, but you know, a good kind of stash of those there. So, oops, you needed strong thumbs to put this one back. So that is that one there, and then yeah, again, pop this one back. And the top one, and then I've got this gorgeous clock which I had received in a happy mail from the lovely Marianne, so that is just up there. I have to say it does need a new battery now, but yeah, that's up there. Okay, moving on. So I'm just going to come here in the front. So here, obviously I've got my sewing machine on my desk. So this is my desk, my sewing machine desk that I did have in the loft. It's very similar to my actual desk that I had in the loft, but obviously a smaller version. Obviously it's got a drawer which I just keep, you know, threads and odd little bits and pieces and my bobbins. Snippet roll that I'm in the middle of making, and then here to the side I've just got some threads here, you know, just a bunch of black threads, and then here these are some snippet rolls which I have decorated up. This one we have done together on video and the video's already gone out, and then I've got this one which I've decorated more recently and the video hasn't gone up yet, but it will be doing soon. So that's that. Now under here I did start out with my chair, which I had obviously, you know, had when I was in the loft where I sat here. Now, the problem is the chair, obviously, you know, it had a back on it and, you know, took up quite a bit of room. So what I did was I managed to find this little padded stool thing, which I need to put this book away. But yeah, I've found this little padded stool and it's storage. So this is stuff that we're going to be, you know, making some projects from. So yeah, please excuse the carrier bag at the moment, but obviously it was all the stuff that I gathered from the floor. Not all the stuff, but some of the stuff I gathered from the floor during the craft makeover, and I've just put it in there. But I thought, well, that's brilliant because it doubles up as a chair and obviously storage. So, and that was £10, would you believe, from B&M Bargains. Now, I've got to be honest, it's not obviously the most robust piece of furniture. It probably is not going to last very long. Depends how often I sit on it. It is also a little bit on the low side for my desk, so I'm a little bit short when I'm sat there. but I can always kneel up on it. It's fine. But I just thought practicality wise, it was so much better than having a chair. So that is that. Right, this is the bag which I take to my mum's house. So whenever I say, oh, it's in my bag that I take to my mum's, that's that. Now I have to say I have got 2 bags I take to my mum's these days because it's kind of grown. But again, I want to try and whittle that down to 1 bag. So that's going to be another up and coming project, I think, is whittling the bag down. Now, this is that chip, you know, fish and chip paper, or, you know, takeaway paper kind of thing, which I've talked about quite often. Now, I bought this, I think, from Amazon, if I recall. It's very thin, flimsy paper, but it's wonderful. You can print on it. Have to say, sometimes the printer's a bit temperamental with it. Sometimes it works okay. But it's, yeah, it's pretty good, and it makes just lovely, lovely copies of things. So I've got that. Now, I have to say, when I bought it, it was in a massive bundle. So I've actually had to put it in rolls just because it's huge sheets, and so it wouldn't kind of, you know, store anywhere nicely. So I've rolled them up, and I've got 3 huge rolls out of that because, you know, you got such a vast quantity when I purchased it. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm storing that at the moment. But again, I may kind of have a rethink on that. Just got a little hanging thing here, but again, it's not hanging. So again, need to put that up on the wall really. Then I got these little shelf items from IKEA. Now these, again, I think were only about £5 or something. They were super, super cheap. They have got this, what do you call this? You know, like a hanging rail. In hindsight, when I put these together, I wouldn't have actually put the hanging rail on because obviously it's limiting my height of what I can get onto the shelf. I could probably pull this out now. You know, it's only quite flimsy rod, so I could probably kind of break it out somehow. But yeah, what I quite liked about them, they have, again, hooks underneath. So just these 4 hooks underneath. I love hooks, and I think they're, you know, really one of the best things of how to store stuff in the craft room. You know, and all these are just my opinions, so please don't think I'm kind of saying to you, oh, this is definitely the best thing. I'm just saying, you know, that's what I quite like to use is, you know, I quite like these tiny shelves with the hooks. They're really handy. So I can get quite a lot of paints on here and things. So, you know, worked out pretty well. And obviously I've got the hooks. Then above it, I've got another one. So again, got lots of paints and things stored on there. And, you know, I've just filled it up with lots of things on the hooks. So, you know, all of these things, as you can see, need sorting. It was, you know, when I first started putting things into the room, it was all coming in pretty well. And of course, over time, it's just, you know, got slung in here. So yeah, some things are tidier than others. Then at the top, I just made this picture the other day, just to have as a pretty picture to have in here in the craft room. When my son puts up a shelf, I will probably have this stood on the shelf. It's a box frame, or possibly hung up on the top. I'm not quite sure yet. But really loved how it turned out, and I thought we could come along and do perhaps a couple more of these because I'm just on a mission to use things up. And so basically this was a box frame that my son had in his bedroom. Doesn't need them anymore because of course we've done our room swaps, so you know, these were kind of like surplus to requirements, and I just didn't want to waste them. So I thought, well, I'll make some artwork for my room. Oops, so sorry for jogging the camera there. So yeah, we'll come back and we'll make a couple more bits of artwork, I think, together. Right, so on to this section here. Now this is a little bit messy here. As you can probably tell, this was kind of when I was losing the will to live and just chucking things in. So up here I've got this gorgeous little journal. This was one of those lovely journals that Heather actually gifted for my daughter with the miniature books inside. So yeah, she's kind of obviously played around with it and, you know, scattered the books everywhere and things. And yeah, I just kind of came across it obviously when I was clearing her room, and I thought, oh, I'm going to stand that up as inspiration. So I hope you don't mind, Heather. But yeah, that's up there. Then in here, I can't even remember what's in here. What is in here? Oh, again, just rubbish really. So just need to go through these little kind of pots really. This one I think, I was going to say is full of buttons, but I'm not so sure. Oh, it's full of felt flowers, and oh, yet more chipboard letters. I mean, could I have any more chipboard letters? So yeah, these two obviously I've put them here, you know, where they're not kind of so accessible, because they're not really the type of thing that I'm going to be accessing on a daily basis. But we can go through them, and then we can obviously try and utilise some of the bits and pieces. Then I've got like my huge rubbing alcohol and things like that. And then I've got like my bulb pins. These admittedly could do with coming closer to me, because I do actually use them a lot. I've got my envelope punch board. Again, that probably should be closer to me. And then I've got texture paste and things, you know, various different things. This here is full of, you know, tiny sort of lace scraps. So yeah, I won't bother pulling that down. Then these two shelves. Now this shelf unit here, this was one that was in my daughter's bedroom. Again, she doesn't need that anymore for where she's moved. So I thought, well, this is a brilliant shelf unit. Obviously lots of storage space on the very top of it. And each little cubby hole, although it's quite small, it provides a huge amount of storage space. So here, these two, I've put lots of kind of, you know, what I would call like art materials. So paints and the acrylic mediums, my gesso, things like that. A little paint palette and my inks there. So, you know, these things, as you can tell, they are not going to be accessible. You know, when I'm sat at my desk, I'd have to keep jumping up and down. But the intention being, I would probably know if I was going to be using these things in a video, and then I would just bring them over at the start of the video. All famous last words there. We shall see how that goes. So here in the middle, I've got yet more chipboards. I mean, oh, how many more chipboards do I need? I went through a phase when they were really trendy of obviously buying them a lot. This filled with ribbons. So, yep, probably could do with, you know, going through that. And then this here, this is my CD case, you know, envelope things. And these, I just need to kind of sort through. They've got, I think, some of them have got chipboard letters in, and some have got something else. I can't even remember what. And then here, this is a bit of a mishmash going on in this little section here. But I've got things like chipboard words and things. I've got those lovely words that we did together, which are like the book page words that, you know, I've put them onto like backgrounds there. So yeah, just a few sort of yeah, just handy things to have really. My Inca Golds and those paints there. This empty container, but of course I didn't throw it out because I may want to use it. And then on this one here, I've got these are like coffee dyed, well, they're not all coffee dyed actually, but sort of ephemera pieces that can be folded up and popped into a journal. Just got a couple of flowers there, a little bit of snippet roll. So again, it needs a bit of tidying up, but you know, was coming to the end and just kind of chuck things in there. This just gorgeous flower. I've had this for years. I bought these, yeah, years ago. I think you got 6 or something. I went halves with my friend because I think actually you maybe got 12. So we ended up with 1 of each, you know, instead of 2 of each. This was the last one that I've got because I think, yeah, I've used the others in scrapbook layouts. So I might try and incorporate this. If we do another sort of piece of artwork, I might try and incorporate this on it because it's really lovely, isn't it? Or, you know, maybe I would just have it here, just kind of clipped up or something. Or, you know, perhaps just, I don't know, bulb pin it up and hang it from a hook or something. I just thought it was pretty and didn't want to put it away out of sight. So, yeah, that's why that's still laying around. Here I have got a whole bunch of ready-made, you know, what do you call these? You know, the petal things where you've done them with the candle. So they are ready for making fabric flowers in there. Here I've got some pom-pom trim. And then here again, this is some lace scraps. So I've just popped that there. Got a shelf unit behind it. Again, this has got mulberry flowers and things like that in there. So, yeah, just, you know, it's tucked away, but it's still accessible. Then this is that unit, which we sorted this in the Tidy Fridays. It got very messed up when I moved it downstairs, unfortunately, because it all kind of slid out. So, yeah, it's at the moment a little bit messy to the point this one even won't even open. It's kind of wedged shut. But, yeah, just got my stamps. You know, some of my favourite stamps that I really like using are in here. But it just needs a bit of tidying up now. So then obviously coming on, got my printer. So, and I know lots of people ask me what printers I use. So please excuse the dust. Obviously this is in my bedroom where I put my makeup on. So yeah, lots of kind of dusty makeup on here. But lots of people do ask me, what printer do I use? This is a HP OfficeJet 6950. Now, I've had a couple of these printers because I obviously do like a really huge, vast amount of printing. So I don't think this is anything, you know, to slight the printer. But obviously over time, my printers have broken a few times and I've had to replace them. But I think that's because of the sheer volume of stuff that I'm printing, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, I've had probably 2 or 3 of these 6950s, but it's a good printer. Over the time, they have gone up in price. Unfortunately, I think the first one I bought was only about £70. I think they're over 100 now. Like everything, it's just, you know, the prices have gone through the roof. But yeah, I subscribe to the HP Instant Ink with this, and quite often when you buy this printer, you can get it with like maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, even maybe 6 months free of the Instant Ink program. So it's a really good value printer. And of course, it's got a scanner on the top as well. These gorgeous little tins, and I hadn't realised at the time, but these tins were sent to me by the lovely Heather. So thank you so much, Heather. I hadn't realised, but these are actually Tracy Fox, you know, labels for these tins. So yeah, just really love them. And then behind them, I've just got these magazine files where I've put interesting book pages. So a lot of these book pages are book pages from like my book page bundles that I sell in my shop. And yeah, I've just obviously kept kind of a couple of collections for myself. That then if I'm doing projects and I need, say, these, you know, Victorian advert pages, I can just come over here and grab myself a couple of book pages. So yeah, really, really good, those. So that is that. Now in here, so all of this furniture, by the way, I mean, not the furniture that I'm kind of reusing, obviously, but this furniture was new. Some of them are new. Some of them I managed to get on Facebook Marketplace. But if you're looking for them new, they were from the range in IKEA called Hauga. I think it was Hauga. So it was quite a budget range in the first place. Now, obviously, like I say, I didn't have to assemble them all because I managed to get them on Facebook, but I did assemble 2 of them, and my goodness, they were the easiest thing ever to assemble. So yeah, if you're looking for kind of like quite budget range, kind of, you know, quite nice shelf units from IKEA, these I would recommend. So yeah, right, going inside here. So I'm going to move my carrier bag that I take to my mum's, obviously, and move this roll of paper so we can actually get inside the cupboard. Now in here, I need to do a lot of work because, yeah, this was where, you know, yet again, I was obviously coming towards the end of the craft move and things just got literally shoved into this cupboard. So, oh, you name it, it's in here, to be honest. And it's just in no order. It's just been chucked in, loads of different things, nothing kind of, yeah, ordered to it. This shelf here has got lots of books on and started out pretty well organised, making it as a bookshelf. And then, of course, it was coming towards the end. I was running out of space, and so things were then just being chucked in on top. So, yeah, this is going to be another little area that we're going to have to tackle in the next few weeks / months. But, you know, I mean, hopefully these are going to inspire all different projects and things when we come to tackle all these areas. So, yeah, I'm viewing it as a positive. So I'm just going to go on to probably this wall, and then we'll probably call it quits for today because... I'm sure this is probably, you know, boring the life out of you guys. So here I have got just a little file. Now this has got some of my printables, you know, in here in Polly Pocket type files, stuffed just into the folder. I don't know whether that's really a very good way to store them anymore. I used to do that when I had many less printables. But yeah, I'm not sure really now. But it was obviously in my loft in this way, in the folder. And I just wanted to just put it somewhere. Again, I was running out of space and running out of energy and motivation at this point. So it was just like, oh, shove it in there. Beside there, I've got, this is some vintage stuff that I need to scan. So it's just kind of in there, needs scanning. And then here I've got some of my laminated pouches and things like that. So, you know, things that I would like to do ideally is get all my kind of specialist papers, you know, like laminated sheets and the tracing paper and things like that, and store that all together so that when I come to use some certain paper type, it's all in one place. At the moment, it's a bit jumbly and everywhere. So those are the types of things that, you know, I'd like to organise later. Right, so this is my other printer. As you can see, on top I've just chucked a bunch of paper and things. This was, you know, yeah, just losing the will to live and just chucked it up there, to be honest. Obviously, I've got those rolls of the chip paper. Now, this printer, this is a HP Office Pro 9010, so 9010. This printer is my second printer. So my HP 6950 is the printer that I've had for a long time, and I've had a couple of. This one was a replacement printer during the lockdown when I had to buy one and I couldn't get hold of the HP 6950. So I bought this one. It's okay. Now, some things are superior to the other one and some things are worse. I personally think the scanner is not so good on this. May just be my imagination, but I feel like the scans are not quite so good on this as they are on the HP 6950. The printing speed is much faster than on this one, so that is a good thing. The print quality, I would say, is similar, possibly slightly superior on this. This was a more expensive printer. The actual overall printer, though, I would say is much more temperamental on this. Don't get me wrong, the print cartridges seem to last for longer. It does many more prints per print cartridges, you know, they're slightly bigger cartridges. So, I mean, that's all a plus, you know. But this printer jams a lot more. It often has like clunky noises coming through, and then it won't print for, you know, a couple of weeks and things like that. So it's a bit more of a problematic printer, I would say. Would I recommend it? I'm not sure, to be honest. I really am not sure. I would recommend the other one. I'm not so sure about this. Fantastic print quality, I would say, but yeah, it's caused a few more nightmares, you know, with the jamming and things like that. But again, it does operate with the HP Instant Ink, and so of course I've subscribed to that on this printer as well, which, you know, just makes life so easy, doesn't it? So yeah, I mean, they're both good printers. Anyway, then in this box, this is another box which I just moved down straight from the loft. I did not even go through this. This is also full of rubbish. Needs clearing, needs kind of, you know, tackling. So these are all things that we're going to be tackling, you know, over the course of, you know, this year. When I say this year, it'll probably still get to next year and we won't have even started. But yeah, that's the plan. Right, moving up. So I have another shelf unit here. So this shelf unit, this also was from IKEA. Also has these little hooks underneath, which just are fantastic. I've got these little pots, which the lovely Marianne had sent me. So they are magnetic and they are just, you know, magnetized onto this because this is a metal shelf. On there, I've got a few things hung, you know, from the hooks already. This one, a whole bunch of mishmash of stuff because this was, you know, I filled, yeah, as with the other things, when I was coming to the end and couldn't be bothered. So it was like, oh, let's just put everything in there. I've got these lovely 2 rolls of brown paper that the lovely Marianne sent me as well. I have to say, I'm kind of hoarding them because don't they look lovely? I love the way she's just, you know, rolled them up and put them with this lovely ribbon. It makes them look like, you know, antique scrolls, vintage scrolls. So yeah, really love those. So that's those. My little Brian paint sticks are behind them. Obviously, I've talked about this a lot, but I don't really tend to use most of the colours in those paint sticks. I just really love the brown and the gold, which I have kept over there behind my desk. So yeah, this is the overspill of colours. They probably are not stored in the best way. They're taking up quite a bit of room and I probably should just get them out and stand them on my shelf. So, you know, that's another thing that, you know, I need to do really. Then I have this other shelf unit. This also was in my original craft area up in the loft. It's got the hooks, which I love. Got the shelf. Now, the shelf here, I have stored my punches. Now, this I can obviously reach, well, semi-reach from my desk. So I've put it where my oval punches, these are my larger, oh, sorry, these are my larger oval punches are on this end. I've got a large square punch on this end. So my punches that I'm going to be using, you know, frequently are up there, basically, you know, up at the end where I can hopefully get to them reasonably easily. This punch here is that tag punch. I don't really use that very often, to be honest. So I didn't really feel that I needed to kind of have access to that so readily. And then up there, sorry, I'm just picking up those magnetised tub things that slid off just now. So here, this is again a jar of flowers. They're mulberry paper flowers, and 1 or 2 fabric flowers have made their way in there as well. So yeah, I mean, I think they look really pretty in jars, and you know, so it's functional and pretty as well. Obviously on the hooks, just, you know, put a bunch of stuff, die cuts and things like that. These things do all need sorting out, but it was just a kind of first stab really. Then the other thing that I did order, which I thought this was ingenious, so got this from Amazon. It's actually a kitchen towel roll holder. This, I hadn't realised, this sticks on, so it, well, let's hope it's super strong. You know, like the 3M tape, it's that. So you just peel off the backing and it just sticks on here. So I've stuck it onto this shelf. I've put it up this way, which of course, you know, you could have had this, say, underneath, you know, underneath a shelf unit like here. You could have had it on, you know, the wall sticking out, however you wanted it. But I thought, well, this is actually, you know, making use of every single space in here. So this was like a little empty space. So I thought, well, clip it onto that side of that shelf. Now this is my washi tapes. I'm not really a big washi tape person. Love the look of them. You know, love some of the designs that you can get with washi tapes, but I don't really tend to use them very often if I'm truthful. So yeah, so far I've just put those on there. Now the intention was to put lots of my ribbon reels on here. The problem is, let me just show you, is many ribbons, oops, many ribbon reels, the circle is just too small to go over here. So I could, of course, extend that circle, you know, cut a bigger circle in there. It's just a case of time, really. So if I get time, I'll perhaps make the circles a little bit bigger so that I can hook my ribbons, you know, on over there like I had intended. Or, you know, over time, I'm sure that I will come across other things that have got big enough holes to slide on there. I mean, I liked it for the ribbons because, of course, you know, I wouldn't have to take all of the things off to be able to get to the thing I wanted to use. I could just obviously pull the ribbon out and cut it. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe for sari silk, it would maybe be a kind of option for storing sari silk or something. You know, if I kind of used some of the old ribbon reels, make the hole bigger, wind the sari silk round, maybe something like that on there. I'm not quite sure. But I just thought that was going to be a really valuable kind of storage item. So yeah, that is my craft room so far. So, I mean, I've given you quite an in-depth look, really, at this whole section. Oh, sorry, the only things that I did miss was here. This I had up in the loft already. All of these little bits, I had all of the little stuff. The only things really that I knew are, you know, the couple of big items, not that bookshelf over there, but these two and this one and the island. And like I say, I managed to get a couple on Facebook anyway. But all of the small things, they are all things that I had anyway. So this was in my drawers behind my desk in the loft. And yeah, I've just brought it down. Obviously, this is from IKEA. And, you know, of course, you could decorate these and paint them or paper them or, you know. I'm just too lazy. I mean, who knows, maybe I will eventually, but yeah, certainly it's not a priority of mine at the moment. But I just literally wrote on them what's in there, and these are not necessarily the best things in there now, if you see what I mean. I did these, you know, back, sort of way back, and yeah, I mean, they may be, you know, not the best use of these now. So I would perhaps put different things in if I was doing it, but I just brought them down exactly as they were from the loft, and I've just put them there. So, and they just fit perfectly on top of this little cupboard. This little cupboard, obviously, you know, I had up in the loft, and we tidied this cupboard during the Tidy Friday. It obviously got a bit messy when I was moving it downstairs. But yeah, it's just got the little acrylic drawers in here. I haven't even made use of these ones, actually. And a couple of the die cut die thingies there. I can just slide a couple more die, you know, what are these called? You know, the platform things for your big shot. They just kind of slide under there. So yeah, they're quite good. I mean, my big shot's still upstairs, so that also needs to come down. But to be honest, I was really running out of space by this point, and just, yeah, had to kind of leave it up there. So I do have quite a lot more room to do to fit more things in, but it's going to just be a kind of needs must basis. So at the moment we're trying to get places straight with my daughter and my son's room, and then things can come down. I've just got this tiny box now, or basket. This is filled just with paints. This also was up in the loft, and I've just literally brought it down as it was. And then I've just got this little, it's actually a little CD thingamabob. What do you call it? CD cupboard. Oops. I hadn't obviously tried to open it until now. It's so wedged in here, I actually can't get it open. So yeah, I need to move this whole thing along so this can move along slightly and I can get it open. But inside there, I've got things like embossing powders. Again, they are not the ones that I use all the time. So they're not like the distress embossing powders. They're not the gold embossing powder, because they're the powders I use a lot. These are kind of like maybe a silver embossing powder. I've got some glittery embossing powders, things like that, that I don't particularly use that much. They are in here. But yeah, it's just kind of more storage really. Obviously I have this tiny space here, which again, I'm already thinking, oh, I could put something on here. So I'm just really trying to make the most of every single little nook and cranny that I've got in this room, because like I say, it's, you know, it's not the biggest room, but you know, there is an awful lot of stuff obviously being squished into here. So yeah, I hope that you like the progress. Obviously I've got blinds up at the windows. They were obviously up there already when it was my daughter's room. She had curtains. I've not bothered because they would have taken up more space in here, which of course I could not spare the space. So yeah, I've got the blinds. It's lovely now because I've got an outlook when I'm working, which I obviously didn't really have a window I could see from up in the loft. So that's all really good. Yeah, so yeah, let me know what you think below. Obviously I will have an installment, you know, second installment to go through everything else that's in here. Yeah, hopefully we will get it done in one more part, but it may have to be 2 more parts. Because there is a lot to see in here. So yeah, but I hope that you like it, and yeah, hopefully you can see the progress that's been made, and yeah, so let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then.